My palate has developed a little bit, and now I appreciate dry cider too.
Hello, my name is Ria Wincaller, and I am the producer and cider MC of this weekly podcast, where we speak with makers, cider enthusiasts, and folks within the cider trade from around the world. On this episode 479 of Cider Chat, we have audio snapshots from folks attending the New York Cider Fest. And I'm really excited about this because I haven't done anything like this since 2019, which is a couple years ago, since we're in 2025 right now. That is 6 years since I have walked around a Cider Fest recording with the patrons attending the Cider Fest. And what you heard coming into this episode was Fumio talking like music to our ears, where she was really acknowledging where her palate has changed from probably a sweet palate to looking more at dry ciders, which is what one would expect if you are a cider connoisseur. And it sounds like both she and her husband David, who you will be hearing from in this here episode, they travel for cider. And that is really great news in so many ways. Plus, they're also listeners of Cider Chat. And that is kind of a first for me, too. Look, 2019 to 2025, Cider Chat has been around now for, well, this is season 10, so 10 years and counting, almost 500 episodes. I suspect one is bound to meet listeners of this podcast if you are in the cider sphere and you're walking about a cider fest. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. You're going to be hearing audio snapshots. I'm walking around. I have a list of questions for everybody to go through, basically the same list I used in 2019, and I wanted to see if it would change. What's interesting is I was speaking before the actual event opened to the public to the cider maker at Angry Orchard, Joe, and he asked, anything new? And initially I was like, I'm not sure. We'll see. And guess what? I am seeing a difference between how people are replying back in 2019 to 2025. So yeah, cider is going up in so many ways. It was such a blast, the whole event itself. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about all that coming up as our featured presentation. But as always, I have a wee bit of news from out and about in Ciderville. Ciderville, I have some exciting news. Reservations for the next Totally Cider Tour opens on December 1st. So if you've been dreaming about getting out to the West Country of the UK, tasting at the source, walking the orchards during blossom time, meeting makers, and enjoying a full week of cider fun, this is your moment. This tour is the real deal. It's curated with my personal connections across the cider world, built around exclusive visits you simply won't find on any other itinerary. And if you ever wanted to give someone an unforgettable experience, well, this is a phenomenal holiday gift. And for those of you working in the cider, beverage, or hospitality industries, I suspect that this absolutely counts as a business write-off. You get professional development, industry networking, orchard side inspiration, all while having a ridiculously good time. Now, to receive the full details, including the deposit info and what's included, send an email to info@ciderchat.com. There'll be a link in the show notes to that email address, or you could just go to the tab that says Totally Cider Tours at ciderchat.com and get more detail there. Reservations will be opening on December 1st, and space is limited. It's kind of a first come, first serve. But that doesn't mean there isn't room for you, so do check it out. info@ciderchat.com. Send your questions this way. Ask for the reservation link. It's going out next week. This here episode is going live on November 26th, and then, we're planning for blossom time. So let's just kind of imagine what that's like, because I just did this tour in August with an amazing group of folks visiting a lot of the same locations, but this is going to be a little different because I like to change it up and there's more sites we want to see, while at the same time keeping that underlying goal that is part of every Totally Cider tour, and that is, fun. Yes, that's on the top of the list. But the other main goal is to have time to recharge. I like seeing people really get enmeshed into the culture there of both the culinary scene, the sites, the people, and the cider and Perry, but also to have time to be a little solo, to be able to drop in and go at a pace where you aren't feeling like you're being really taxed. So it's like go, 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 and you're being moved with a group, and it's just tiring, frankly tiring. I create the tours that I would take. And a little bit about me as a tour guide. Oh, dear. Anyways, my friends are listening. I'm like, oh, boy, here she goes. I love facilitating. It's something that I have honed as a skill my entire professional career and many different levels. And it's just so much fun to be able to take all that knowledge I have with group facilitation and logistics and guiding people and creating what I tell folks on the tour, that perfect transition from moment to moment. That's what it's all about. And it's really my forte. I've been doing it a long time with all different levels. I first started out really in college. I was at this really cool dormitory. And instead of having housekeeping, we did our own housekeeping at the university. And that allowed us to take that money for educational adventures on site at the university or maybe trips or something like that. And one of the things we did at one time was to bring in group facilitators to teach us how to facilitate our own community. And that was really like the stepping stone for me. From there, it was being a adventure-based wilderness instructor, bringing people out to very extreme high-risk settings and facilitating the group so that they succeed when there's a little bit of fear there involved, such as rock climbing or rappelling or whitewater, whatever, the whole 9 yards there. And then I went into a more intensive experience with that, working in maximum and minimum security facilities, facilitating experiential education. And then as my role as an international consultant, it was really to train trainers in a emotional first aid model that I designed and facilitating people traveling with me internationally, then creating curriculum, teaching and training and facilitating groups in all different kinds of venues. So it's really a passion of mine. I don't know. It's like pinch me that I get to do that because I love engaging with people. And the folks that come on the tour, y'all make it really, really easy. So I know that you're out there listening, folks who have been on past tours, because we stay in contact. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So much so that I confuse who is part of which group now. It's just like one big happy family to me, and it continues growing and growing. So, yeah, I think if you are reticent about doing a tour where you are on a coach and you're not in control of the driving, in this case, when it comes to a cider tour, that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing, not having to drive. You don't have to worry about food that night. We got you covered. And yeah, there's like a couple dinners where you have to do on your own, but shoot, who can't find dinner in some of the sites we're going super easy? And that's a little bit of your drop time too. But more or less, all you have to worry about is, where's my glass and is it full? That's it. That's about it. We got you covered. All right. Once again, go to ciderchat.com. Go to the link for Totally Cider Tours. You'll get to see an overview there to give you a little bit of a touchstone. And then send an email to info@ciderchat.com. If you're listening to this right now, I recommend stopping the podcast, putting it on pause, and sending a note to yourself or sending an email right now. I want more info. I want the reservation. I want to do this because I know what happens when you listen to podcasts. You're like, what was that? Oh, I'll get to it. And then by then, it might be sold out. The dates for the tour are April 27th through May 3rd. And we're going to begin and end in Bristol proper. So that is basically England. Somerset, going up to Gloucestershire and Herefordshire, that is all England. When you go over to Wales, that's not England. So those two regions are all part of the United Kingdom. That's why we call it Blossom Time in the UK. So if you didn't know that before, I think that's a cool geographical piece to know. Again, send an email to info@ciderchat.com, and I so hope to see you out and about in the West Country of the United Kingdom coming up, Blossom Time 2026.
Walking through the orchards.
It's time now for our featured presentation, which are audio snapshots from the New York Cider Fest. This took place on November 15th of 2025. It's an annual Cider Fest, and this particular one took place at City Winery, which is an event space right alongside the Hudson River and super easy to get to. In fact, I was able to take a bike both to and from my location. So when I left the event, I hopped on a little e-bike, rode up along the Hudson River, which is spectacular. There is a bikeway, felt super safe. And then I cut up on, I think it was like 39th Street over to 40th. There's bike trails there, a lot of bikes. And even the sections where there weren't bikes, it felt like cars are more and more accustomed to bikes. So go New York City for really welcoming that. I love being able to ride a bike in the city. They have regular pedal bikes and also e-bikes. And, one thing you realize when you're on a bike riding around New York City, it's really like a mound, right? You're coming up from the river on one side from the Hudson, and then you go down to the East River on the other side. You really feel it when you're on a bike, and e-bikes are great for that. So super accessible, fantastic time, and really big tip of the glass to the New York Cider Association for hosting this. They had over 20 different cider makers there, all New York cider makers, of course, and the option to purchase product to go. That made it really easy for people to be planning for this coming Thanksgiving, which is going to be taking place the day after this here episode goes live. So thanks to all the folks who participated in these audio snapshots. We're going to be rolling to them next, making this a very fine time to grab a glass and join this chat with folks attending the New York Cider Fest 2025.
Hi, this is Eli, and I am from New York. I've been drinking cider for about 10 years. Favorite style of cider is, a little on the sweeter side, not super dry, fruity, but, still approachable. Not super sweet to the point where I have a headache, but delicious. My favorite food to eat while drinking cider is, I haven't really thought about this all that much, but I think like some kind of meat, or like burgers or something like that. Something where that's a little more savory to go with the sweet. And what I want to know about cider is how they get the flavors in there. There's the pomegranate, there's all those things. Where at what point in the process do they, put the flavoring in? How do they put the flavoring in? And those kinds of things. Or like pumpkin pie flavored, how do they get the pumpkin pie or the cream flavor in there? It's all very interesting.
That's a great question from Eli, and one we hear a lot. How do you get these fruit ciders, or these flavored ciders, if you will? Well, if you're really going for like that orchard-based style, you're probably going to be looking at co-ferments. So you have the fresh pressed apple juice. It's going to be fermenting at the same time with that, let's say, blueberry. Maybe it's whole blueberries, or maybe some blueberry concentrate that they put in there too. And for like a pumpkin pie, well, they might be putting in some pumpkin puree to ferment with the cider. Or my guess might be that they have the cider, and then once it's done fermenting, they're now adding a pumpkin flavoring to that. It might be some spices, actually, like, dusting the liquid with some spices like cloves and nutmeg, cinnamon, that you get that pumpkin profile. And that's kind of the short answer to it. But a great question, and one that we hear a lot. Up next, we're rolling to Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa, and I am from New Jersey. I've been drinking cider for the past 10 years. My favorite type of cider is sweet and mildly carbonated. My favorite food to eat while I'm drinking cider is white smoked cheddar cheese. What I want to know about cider is the different processing methods that are used for each type of cider.
Well, Lisa, that's a question that we're all still trying to answer as cider makers. I'm not a professional cider maker. I'm just a little hobbyist here. But one thing I know is that there's a short answer, and then it could get really complex. So my main recommendation, if you're listening now, is to go into the archives at ciderchat.com and look at how to make cider right there. And I'll bring you through the most baseline process. And then from there, it's kind of like the sky's the limit. You could have barrel-aged cider. You could have cider in stainless steel that is being conditioned. You could leave it on the lees or take it off the lees and rack it. You could have a Kiev cider, a champagne-style cider. There's a lot of ways to really up the ante in the process. It really depends, though, on what you prefer. And you are in the right place to find out about that when you are at any Cider Fest. Up next, we're going to be heading to Colin.
Hi, this is Colin. I'm from New Jersey. I've been drinking cider for several years now. My favorite style of cider is something sweet, but I also enjoy a little bit of tannic aftertaste. My favorite food to eat while drinking cider is really anything. Whatever pairs well works. What I want to know more about cider is how all these cideries are really making their cider, how many acres are on their orchard, and what goes into the process. There's a lot of great things here. I'm excited to learn more.
And why are you attending this particular Cider Fest? How'd you hear about it?
Well, we went to the Cider Fest last year. We had a grand old time, and we had to come back. There's no other option. We've already bought a couple bottles, and we're excited to keep trying.
Colin, you and I would get along fine because I have that same curiosity too. That's why I produce Cider Chat each and every week and interview makers trying to find out about their orchard, what the size of it is, what kind of apples they grow, how they're making their cider, because each story is really individual to that person. And that's the beauty of being in Ciderville, is that it is a cacophony of different styles, different personalities, and definitely something different in every glass. So keep on asking those questions. They are the right ones to ask.
Hi, this is Woodland, and I am from Connecticut. I've been drinking cider for about 3 years. I'm looking for a mix of sparkling, yet sweet and not dry at all. My favorite food to eat while I'm drinking cider has to be either nachos, anything with cheese.
Yeah.
Anything with like a good cheese. What I want to know about cider is how long or like what the process is for fermentation.
How did you find out about this Cider Fest here in New York?
My friend invited me.
And have you been to other Cider Fests?
I have not.
So this is your first ever?
Yes, but I'm very passionate about cider.
Thank you for taking the time and enjoy.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kat, and I'm from Queens, New York. I have been drinking cider for, I'd say, about 10 years since I realized I wanted to be more gluten-free. And my favorite style of cider is champagne style. My favorite food to eat while I'm drinking cider is cheese. And what I want to know about cider is how else it can be combined with other fruits. So I tried a pomegranate today, which was absolutely delicious. I will drink cider in place of beer if I go out with friends, but this one is a highlight. The champagne style is special.
So what are you drinking for Thanksgiving?
Oh, we're definitely going to have this one at the meal, at the start of the meal.
Okay.
The champagne
and
style.
which one is that? Is that
this
from
is Angry Orchard. Yeah,
Okay.
the Palm.
Oh,
Palm Reserve. Delicious.
Lovely.
So good.
Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy. Here's what I liked about those past two interviews. The first one, Woodland really liked sweet cider and owned it. And then you have Kat coming along and saying, champagne cider, that's what we want. So we're seeing a definitive narrowing of styles, and folks not afraid to speak up. They are getting what cider is about in that way, that it could go with a little bit of tannic. We heard that earlier. I think that was with Colin. And then going all the way to champagne. So yeah, folks are getting cider, and that is all about cider going up. It's David, right?
Yes.
From Staten Island.
We listen to the podcast. We listen to it when we take drives to cideries.
And how did you find out about Cider Chat?
My wife, she found it. I think we were looking up a specific cidery, Googling it, because we like their ciders. I'm going to say it was in Massachusetts. And you did an interview with the guy who started it. It was a great interview, and we learned a lot about like how he learned to make the cider there. So it was really interesting. They didn't have a tap room at that time. Maybe that rings a bell. but they're trying to work on one.
Man, I don't know. There's like been so many in Massachusetts too. Do you have a particular cider that you guys go for when you're out and about?
We both like the semi-dries. Fumio, she likes ciders that are co-fermented with fruit. She can't drink very much. And so I would have a couple beers and she would have a cider. So she started thinking of cider more on the sweet side. And then as she drank more and learned more and listened to the podcast, she started to drink more and more of semi-dries and dry cider.
Well, it sounds like you kind of travel about looking for cider spots to stop at.
This is Fumio.
Hi,
This is Rhea from
Cider Chat. Yeah.
Cider Chat.
Yeah, I hear that you listen while you're driving.
You do.
Listen, okay, great. Well, I really love meeting listeners, so that's really awesome. How did you find out about this particular Cider Fest?
Well, we were here last year too, and I follow New York Cider Instagram.
Okay.
So that's how I found out about this place, and so look why we were so excited for this year's event too.
We were talking about the different styles, and it sounds like originally you liked a sweet cider.
Yeah, I think I developed, my palate has developed a little bit, and now I appreciate dry cider too.
Is there like a time where you suddenly discovered cider?
Well, I'm not a beer drinker. My husband is, and then so when he's having something to drink, and I used to go with cocktails, but he said like, "What about cider? There are some ciders." So that's how you did at the restaurant, and that's how I really just started to, get into the cider world.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about that you kind of traveled to different cideries and stuff. How far outside of New York do you travel to check out ciders? So you up in New England, do you go down south?
This summer we were in the Seattle area and trying some West Coast ciders from Vashon Island.
Even like Port Townsend. We went to Port Townsend.
Yeah, fantastic.
To Dragon's Head,
Yes.
Massey Orchard, and what is the one?
What's the one that has the tasting room right in
Finn River. Oh, Finn River?
Finn River, yeah.
Finn River.
Right by Port Townsend, yeah. There's a nice one with a tasting room right in Seattle that we went to a couple times.
Seattle Cider Company.
Seattle Cider,
Yes,
yeah.
of course, yeah. Well, Pacific Northwest really has it. So,
And Locust Cider.
was really good
That's
too,
it.
yeah.
wow. Well, this is music to my ears. So you've been to the Pacific Northwest, you've been to
I
Vermont.
did a trip up to Vermont, the Middlebury area. What's the one on the lake that we really like so much?
The Maniac Cider. Oh no, that's in Maine.
No, that's in Maine.
Yeah, we've been to Maine.
Oh, you know your ciders.
She does.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, good. And is there a particular, like when you're at home and you're taking out a bottle of cider, do you typically pair it with a certain food?
Yeah, we have some fruity, sweeter one, and we have dry one, or we have funky one. So based on what we are having for dinner, we just pick, what fits.
I like richer foods and meats. You like a semi-dry.
Yeah.
It's often good, I think you say, because
Yeah.
it's not overwhelmed. Actually, you might be interested, Rhea, that we're doing, it's not primarily a cider trip, but because Fumio's from Japan, we're going to go to the Nagano region in January and try some ciders from there.
That is great. Yeah, that's one of the premier regions in Japan.
Right.
Yeah, as you well know. And you probably have some of your cideries already picked out there?
Oh yeah, of course I do.
But if you have any recommendations, let us know.
I have not been there yet, but I have some episodes with Lee Reeve and talking about it, and in season 1 with Marie, but she's since retired. But it is a happening scene there in Japan, and as we know, once the Japanese really settle on something, they do it to the best. And so I am so excited for cider in Japan and what's happening there. And you probably have heard about Lee Reeve and Insider Japan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Follow there.
He would be the contact to go to for sure.
Yeah, I tried several, so we are hoping to go to Kamoshka and add some other ciders.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time talking to me, and see you down the cider trail.
Looking forward to listening to your episode.
It's without a doubt that it's really exciting for me to meet listeners of this here podcast. They are cider aficionados. They've been traveling to the Pacific Northwest and here on the East Coast and now heading to Japan. So Fumio and David, when you return, I would love to get a little DM to hear how that trip went. And in the meanwhile, I just want to wish you Yoti Habio. Have a good trip and a wonderful journey.
Hi, this is Jessica, and I'm from New York City. I've been drinking cider for, I guess I'm 27, so 6 years. And my favorite style of cider is I like a little bit sweeter, and I usually go for like a down east cider. And my favorite food to eat while drinking cider is like probably bar food, something classic. And what I want to know about cider is how it's made, the different flavors. And yeah, that's what I want to know about cider.
How did you find out about this event?
Through my sister.
Okay.
She's actually a food influencer.
All right, nice.
So we got invited today.
Great. All right, should we talk to the food influencer?
Let's talk to the food
All right,
influencer.
let's talk. Okay. So who do we have here?
Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy. So you're here because you were invited to the event?
Yes.
So what made you say I want to come to an event like a Cider Fest?
I think it's really fun and different, and I actually recently went to a blind wine tasting event, and getting into this kind of like alcohol scene isn't something I expected through the food influencing, but it's been awesome and really fun.
Right.
And we met a lot of really cool people at the blind wine tasting. I think it's really cool that people get very into this scene and they know so much, and I think it enriches different social activities like outside of this, where now I understand what I'm drinking, and it's cool to hear the backstory.
What are you finding with pairing food and the different drinks? What do you have something that you're leaning towards, or you're discovering in that journey?
I really like CPG brands and going to different like pop-up grocer in Soho, if you know that. It's like a rotating grocery store where they feature all these new CPG brands. So I like seeing...
I'm not sure what a CPG...
Consumer packaged goods.
Okay.
So that could be anything from these like cider products or like the new like probiotic sodas or anything like that in the beverage space. So I like trying all of those and seeing what comes on the shelves in different grocery stores, and taking that to different like dinner parties or whatnot and introducing my friends to those has been really fun.
Is there a particular libation that you tend towards?
You brought cider to my dinner party last weekend. I did.
Okay.
I brought a spiked cider last weekend. I think that went over really well. So I think as we're getting into the fall months, definitely this is the time.
Very fall
Some here. Yeah, we can bring some to Friendsgiving. Yeah.
Well, exactly, yeah, because if there's any libation to have with Thanksgiving, it would be cider.
We're having a Friendsgiving tomorrow.
A Friendsgiving?
Maybe we'll find our favorite
This will
cider.
give us some inspiration.
Perfect. Can you tell us where you are?
Yes, my Instagram is called @roommatesfeasting.
And I'm also at Fontana's Food. We both have Instagram accounts.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
I love it. Food bloggers at a Cider Fest. I have links in the show notes for this here episode 479 to both at Roommates Feasting and at Fontana Food. So check that out at ciderchat.com, episode 479. Up next, we have Kylie and JJ.
Hi, this is Kylie, and I'm from North Carolina. I've been drinking cider for 8 years, I think. My favorite style of cider is anything made with pear or blackberry. So I like sweet and less dry, more sweet. My favorite food to eat while drinking cider is any sharp cheese. And what I want to know about cider is what makes a dry cider good to someone who likes sweet cider.
So I have a question there about that. You're from North Carolina.
Yeah.
How did you find out about the New York Cider Fest?
I currently live in Brooklyn, New York, so I'm just from North Carolina, born and raised. I've been living in New York about 2 years now.
Fantastic. And there are some great cider makers in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
What area of North Carolina?
I'm originally from Aberdeen. It's
Okay.
like right next to Pinehurst, if anyone knows golf. It's like an hour south of Raleigh.
How did you hear about the New York Cider Fest then?
My friend JJ, we went last year, and we both are big cider connoisseurs, so we had such a blast last year. We obviously had to come back this year. So,
Are you having any cider for Thanksgiving?
gosh, are we?
We better.
I hope so here.
Yes, honestly, we'll probably buy some from here and do it for Friendsgiving and also Thanksgiving as well.
Fantastic. I love it. Can I ask you a couple questions, JJ?
Yeah, of course.
So, how long have you been drinking cider then?
Oh, I've been drinking cider since literally I was 21. I found beer to be terrible and disgusting, and then I realized, why drink bad things when I can drink a great thing all the time? So,
Is there particular ciders that you look for? Because we have a lot of orchard-based cider makers here who have their own farms and they're pulling the apples off of their own orchard versus more, production facilities. Do you think of cider in that way, or do you just kind of look at the label and say, oh, that looks good?
It's really interesting because what I tend to do is whenever I go to a new region, just see what they have available. When I moved to New York, I found out that there's actually too many cider companies. There's so many choices. Generally, I try to look for things that are semi-sweet to sweet. When I first started, obviously Angry Orchard was where we began. But then as time went on, I'm like, oh my God, what do you mean there's 50 different places? And now here we are, and we're trying to go to every single one before we leave. And so...
Well, that's a good goal to have, and good luck with that.
Thank you.
It's an amazing selection that we have here.
I do make sure that every single one of my parties, I actually forbid beer. It's only ciders.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I have actually banned people from my party because they brought beer. It's a whole complicated thing. But in general, I usually like to do it for light snacks. So pigs in a blanket is really fun, or mini burgers is really good. Generally, actually not cheeses and meats, mainly because I do wines for those instead. But for basically everything else, usually cider is a really good alternative because there's different varieties everywhere. So if you need a dry one for something a little bit more complex, you can find that.
Yeah, especially with that pigs in the blanket with cider kind of cutting through a little bit of...
It's amazing.
Does it have pork in it, the pigs in the blanket? Do you need that kind of style?
I have done both. I do, depending on who comes, you see the pork or beef.
All right. Are you a chef?
No, I wish.
Oh, all right. Well, you're making me think you are there with other...
No. She's the better chef, honestly.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Whoa, banning people who bring beer to your party. That is pretty hardcore. But, there's one part of me that kind of loves it. Up next, we're going to hear from Katie.
Hi, this is Katie. And I don't have a from. I'm a military kid. I'm from everywhere and nowhere all at once. I've been drinking cider for, I'm trying to do math, it's probably been 13 years. I really enjoy fruit-forward drinks. I like fruity teas, I like fruity wines, I like fruity beers, but cider really takes the cake in terms of how fruit-forward it is. My favorite style of cider, I tend towards the really sweet. I am absolutely a berries first. If I had to pick a particular cider flavor, it's going to be peaches or berry. Black currant is a particular favorite, but it's a lot harder to find here in the U.S. I've had better luck in the UK, but there are one or two currant options here, which has been really exciting.
What are the options that you look for here?
Black Widow has a red currant. And
that's Original Sin.
Original Sin, yes. Yeah. They're the Original Sin Black Widow. Yep. They've also released a non-alcoholic version, which is actually really delightful. Does not have to have alcohol to be the kind of thing that I enjoy. I'm really fruit-forward first and foremost. My favorite food to eat while drinking cider, I feel like cheese really complements it. I know they have some cheese over here. What they have here today is a smoked cheddar, which is a really nice balance to the apples. I'm also partial to a goat cheese or a Wensleydale. I think they provide a lot of the kind of bite and some of the density that you're looking for as the opposite of these very ephemeral ciders that are really bubbly and light and kind of more of a bright flavor, and the cheese kind of helps ground some of that without necessarily being a total opposite. What I want to know about cider, I love knowing where it's coming from. Cider is such a deeply American drink where apples there's so many different varieties of apples, and a Northeast cider is so different from a Portland cider. We did a trip to Portland a couple of years ago and stopped at a cidery.
And we're talking Portland, Oregon.
Yes. Where you could do a cider flight of 7 different cider flavors. And they were all wildly different from what's available here today. Something like a chider, where it's the chai spice blend with the cider. I also adore that, but that's not what we're seeing here today. This is a much brighter and a more like, I don't want to say basic because that feels like I'm writing it off, but the more of that like classic cider flavor where you can taste, is this a Honey Crisp or is this a Granny Smith apple first and foremost?
And what do you feel about that? Do you like the more chai kind of cider style or the collapse?
Depends on the vibe of the day.
So it doesn't really matter. You're just noticing that difference.
Yeah, it's very much, I appreciate each one of those standing on their own.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to lean more towards a berry flavor first because I think that has more of a distinctiveness. Everybody here has a standard apples first flavor, but the gooseberry versus the black currant versus the blueberry are going to be entirely different experiences.
Right. And are you having cider for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I would say we will. We tend to do Thanksgiving sandwiches as our focus, and then like 1 or 2 side dishes.
I love Thanksgiving sandwiches. Does that have like stuffing on it, or what is?
Yeah, that's going to be turkey that I do in the crock pot.
Okay.
Because that gives it a much smoother process without occupying the oven the entire day.
Okay.
And then a cranberry aioli with some cheddar and maybe some sliced Granny Smith.
Oh my land!
And a panini press.
Oh.
That really seals the whole deal.
Dang.
And then some like mashed potatoes and green bean casserole on the side. But a bright cider as the base of a drink to go with all of that, especially if I've added those apples to the sandwich, absolutely seals the deal.
Oh la la, I love it. And I have a feeling that you might have a little cider cupboard or something.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a selection. Is it primarily New York ciders, or are you collecting ciders from other regions? Or
I'm open to ciders of other regions.
Yeah.
I have an easier time getting the New York ciders here.
Yeah.
There is a specialty beer depot just around the corner from the Museum of the Moving Image in Astoria. He wants to gatekeep it, but I won't. It's just around the corner from the Museum of the Moving Image. So we'll go to a special screening and then grab a drink for the way home, or once we get home. And that has had a range from like 1911 and Hudson North, some of these more recognizable brands here.
Yeah.
But even some of like the Angry Orchard Halloween exclusives were available there.
Those
and
are
we
nice.
found a Strongbow imported from England, not bottled or canned here.
Okay, yeah. You know your cider.
Yes, I try.
Yeah. And was there a particular reason how you got turned on to cider initially? Like, was it an epiphany moment, or was it part of your family tradition?
Not particularly. My dad is very much a beer drinker. I grew up as a military kid, and I spent 5 years in Germany. So my dad had every German beer he wanted at all times. I fell in love there with the Dutch cherry beers, the Lambic and the Kriek, because I really like those fruity flavors. So when I discovered that cider is apple first and fruit flavors added on to that, I was sold 100%. I think really the key that unlocked it was the Strongbow with black currant, the cider in black. That was like, oh, this can be a fruity flavored drink. Sold me, 100%.
That was it. Interesting. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, you too.
Are you noticing, like me, how self-assured folks are when talking about cider? That is a notable difference between the answers back in 2019 to 2025. And it's something that we should expect. And really, it shows how much education and being out there every single day talking it up is working. They're listening, and cider's going up. The next one, I love too. So let's next roll to AJ.
My name is AJ, and I'm from New York. Actually, Queens, New York. I've been drinking cider for maybe, I would say, a couple years now. My favorite style of cider is probably like semi-sweet. I don't mind any of the ciders that are mixed with rosé because I'm a big fan of rosé. My favorite food to eat while drinking cider, well, obviously cheese and apples. Who doesn't love cheese and apples? And what I want to know about cider is Maybe just like the process of making cider and how long it takes. And I guess everybody's different technique for making cider because every cider tastes so different. So that's interesting to
Yeah, that's a process. Now, how did you find out about this particular event?
Actually, one of my friends told me about it because we've been to a different event at City Winery.
Okay.
But she told me about it. I actually asked her if she could come, but she actually couldn't come today.
Oh, darn.
But
okay.
we decided to come anyway.
Well, it looks like you're having a good time.
Yes, we are.
Are you getting any bottles to go?
We might. We're just waiting till the end so we don't have to carry them around.
That's smart thinking. Do you have cider with your Thanksgiving meal?
Not typically, because if I'm picking any kind of liquor, it's more tequila.
Oh, baby. Wow. Tequila.
But if I'm going to be on the lighter side, cider is fine.
you would have tequila with your turkey. Wow.
Yes.
How do you have it? Like straight up or what?
Shots, margarita.
Yeah, man. I like my tequila. Wow, that's impressive. But I do want to put a pitch in for cider because it will really elevate the turkey experience.
Especially, yeah. And given all like the flavor profiles of Thanksgiving dinner, I could see how, especially some of them that are here that are more champagne based, could definitely be really good for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. But I don't want to blow that tequila party because that sounds like one hell of a time. What do you do when dessert comes out?
Dessert?
Do you have tequila then?
Yeah, why not?
The whole time.
It's tequila the whole time. Before dinner, during dinner, after dinner.
All right, now I got to ask, is there a particular tequila that you like?
I'm more of a reposado girl.
Okay.
But I'm not stuck to one type of tequila.
So straight up.
Straight up,
any kind of like...
With a little bit of lime.
With a little bit of lime.
Yeah,
that sounds like a really...
Maybe some tahini on the side.
Oh my gosh. Damn, that's a first for me. Tequila with Thanksgiving. That sounds like a good time.
I mean, you got to come to my family's house. All we do is take shots all day.
Let me give you my card. Talk about a win for the team. I just love this conversation with AJ because when I see folks who enjoy spirits, especially tequila drinkers, I mean, that is a class of your own. Going for cider and dedicating a good part of their Saturday to that says something. That is telling me that there is a shift. And she's got to be local, Queens. She is New Yorker through and through. You could just hear it in the accent. Now, drinking cider, yeah, we're happy about that. And AJ, I think you still have my card. You know how to get a hold of me. Tequila.
Hi, my name is Ashley, a.k.a. Adventurous Ashley online. And I live here in New York City. And, I've been drinking ciders for several years now. Actually, during the pandemic, I was working actually in corporate America still at the time, and I really wanted to get out of the city just to kind of be in nature. I do a lot of outdoor content as a photographer and a creator, and I started exploring some of the cideries around the state. I feel like actually Nine Pin was the first cider house that we stopped at for my birthday.
In Albany?
Probably, yeah, right around Albany in like 2021. And ever since then, I do a lot of travel across the state. I always love to stop and try different ciders.
Now, you do food, is that true?
So I do outdoor adventure and travel content. So including food, including cider. I also just personally love cider. I'm more of a sweet cider. So my favorite style of cider is more on the sweet side. Love a good ice cider, but I love more on like just a little past semi-sweet. So like sweet cider. It could be fruity, it could be non-fruity. And my favorite food when drinking cider, I mean, obviously, like, the cheese and cider pairings are always good. Like a nice cheese to kind of counterbalance the cider, or something a little heartier, right? Like a nice sandwich or something like that. But yeah, as I travel the state a lot, I always collect cider. So I just bought 2 cases from Blue Barn, which I've never had before. They're just outside of Rochester, New York. So I loved their Josta Berry. So I bought 2 cases. So super excited for that. And what I want to know about cider really is how we can get more female cider makers into the space. Because I would love to kind of share those stories and try to kind of carve more of a path for more female cider makers.
And are you having cider for Thanksgiving?
I am a part of the parade this year. We've been a part of the parade the last few years.
The Macy's Day Parade?
Macy's Thanksgiving to Parade. So my partner is in the parade. I've actually been a balloon handler for a few years.
Where should we be looking for you on TV?
I'm going to be doing press, so I'm going to be actually live streaming. So and doing a lot of content, so people can kind of see some of the behind the scenes content on my socials.
On your social, would that be like where should we look on Instagram or what?
Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
And I might be live on YouTube. We'll see. But
wow.
Adventurous Ashley is my handle. And so I'm also going to be sharing a lot of content heading up to that. So we're doing Thanksgiving meal on Tuesday because I usually am on turkey duty and cooking duty.
Wow.
So doing a parade and cooking the same days.
I love that.
So we're doing Thanksgiving food, which we will definitely be having cider. Actually, we're probably going to be having some Blue Barn. Now that I just got it.
Yeah.
And doing that Tuesday and prepping for all the stuff for Thanksgiving week.
Well, thanks for being a big part of that because it makes all of us who are sitting at home watching, we just have that fun time for all the work that everybody's doing behind the scenes.
It is such a fun thing and a fun
cool.
experience. I highly recommend people coming and experiencing the parade in person. The day before, you can actually go up to right around the Museum of Natural History and you can see all the balloons being inflated. It's a really great tradition. So if you don't want to be there on Thanksgiving Parade Day, on Wednesday, head up there and really kind of see the balloons up close, take some photos, and then you can obviously watch the parade on TV.
Wow, that sounds so magical. Thank you so much for
no worries.
taking the time, and happy Thanksgiving and happy travels along the trail.
Thank you. You as well.
Gone are the days when people are asking, what is cider? These days, they know what cider is. They might not know the particular of how it's made, who made it, and all that, but they know what they like, whether it be sweet cider, funky cider, dry cider, fruit cider, spice cider. They're willing to try it. They're willing to seek it out and travel for it. And they have even more curiosity. And that's why I feel that cider is kind of like infinite. You know, it's this kind of cool libation in the sea of so many others because there is no end in sight. It has so many different layers, so many different ways it can be made, and it's so welcoming to other fruits and spices and grapes, right? Those wine collabs. It's really, really infinite, and I think we're just kind of starting to get the picture moving forward that the consumers out there, those in the know, those who really like to embrace the bounty of the table and share it with others, they are willing to seek it out. And I'm feeling good about this, and I hope you are too. So if you are a cider drinker or someone who participated in this here episode this week, thank you so much. And to all the makers out there, I really hope it's informing you like it's informing me because I was absolutely wowed. I had a sense it was going to be in this direction, but honestly, until you go out and you talk to people directly, you don't know. You're just conjecturing. Now, this is like real life data that I think is really speaking well of the cider industry. So those of you who are kind of like, it's not going well and places are closing, cider's going up. And it's not just going up in New York State, it's going up around the world. So keep the eye on the prize and make sure if you're hearing Cider Chat for the first time that you hit the follow button because you don't want to miss a minute of the future of cider, the folks who make it, and the people who enjoy it. That's what Cider Chat is all about. Here's your reminder to join me in Bristol coming up on April 27th of 2026 for the Blossom Time Totally Cider Tour to the UK. We have 7 nights in the UK on a private coach running about in Somerset, Gloucestershire, Herefordshire, and Wales. If you want to see a castle, drink cider on the grounds, this tour is for you. If you want to go and see the Cathedral of Cider, well, we'll be visiting the Newt, which is the most bougiest boutique hotel and estate in the United Kingdom. I don't know what else I could say about that, but guess what? It is in Somerset, and we're going there too. If you want to experience what it's like to drink a bit of cider and also some spirits with the premier apple brandy maker in the United Kingdom, well, that is the Somerset Cider and Brandy Company and the Temperleys. Yeah, we're going to be going everywhere, and I hope you could come along. Once again, send an email this way to info@ciderchat.com so that we could send a reservation link to you. I do expect this tour to sell out. It's sold out within days. So don't delay. Send your name this way and we'll get you hooked up. And with that, I leave you here. This is Aria Wincaller signing off for now. Looking forward to seeing you in Ciderville.
We like cider, we like palms, we orchards and having fun. There is a reason.
There is a reason why we do it like this.
Oh yes, there is.
There is a reason why we do it like this.
Oh yes, there is.
There is a reason why we drink it like this.
Oh yes, there is. There is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. We like cider. We like palms. We like orchards, having some fun. There is a reason.
There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes, there is.
There is a reason why we do it like this.
Oh yes, there is.
There is a reason why we drink it like this.
Oh yes, there is.
There is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet.
Oh yeah.
We like cider.
Oh yes, we do.
We like palms.
Oh yes, we do.
We love orchards, having some fun. There is a reason. There is a reason why we do it like this.
Ba-da-da-dum.
There is a reason why we do it like this.
Ba-da-da-dum.
There is a reason why we drink it like this.
Ba-da-da-dum.
Ba-da-da-dum. We like walking down the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet.
Oh yeah.
We like cider.
Ba-da-da-dum.
We like palms.
Oh yes, we do.
We like orchards, having some fun.
Yeehaw!